This right here is a 1985 Honda ATC 250R, and obviously it needs a little help. As you can see, I already pulled the engine out of this, and we're ready to do a rebuild. Now there was a part 1 to this video. I pulled the engine out, dismantled it, figured out what was going on. This thing does run, but I do hear a noise, a little lower end noise, I think. Well, easy. Go. Rings are stuck. The top ring is free. The bottom was stuck. I mean, I can free it up real easy, I think, but it is stuck. So originally what happened, the current owner bought this thing, paid pretty good money for it, ended up blowing it up not very long after he purchased it. So he went ahead, had it rebuilt. He put a sleeve in the cylinder, new piston. He didn't get too much seat time on it, and the head gasket blew. So he replaced the head gasket. However, he did not run it much after the head gasket replacement. And when I got it here, it actually fired right up after sitting all winter, but it had been sitting at his place all winter. And let me show you. So the crank bearings, very noisy. You can see they've had some water contamination in them. The crank, same thing. It's, it's got rust on it, and it's seen better days. A little up and down play in it. Could have been rebuilt, but the owner decided to go with a brand new hot rods crankshafts. These are all customer supplied parts. So, and he brought a manual. He brought all kinds of good stuff. So, anyways, yes, we need new crank bearings. We got the new crankshaft assembly. Now, when I pulled the top end off, I looked, and you can tell this piston doesn't have many hours on it. It's got a little scarring, obviously, a little bit, but it didn't have many hours on it. One thing I noticed right off the bat is the rings were stuck, and I think what happened is the antifreeze sat in that engine from the head gasket being bad, and it just sat in there. It seized up this lower piston ring, and that's when he had a lot of issues. So I got everything torn right down. We're keeping the transmission bearings. They were in very good shape still. Cleaned them, oiled them. They're ready to go. As you can see, we got a fresh bore job on the cylinder. We got the Wiseco piston kit here. This was actually a fresh sleeve that was installed when he installed this piston. So we only had to go up the next size, which is 0.5 millimeters or 20 thousandths over. So plenty of life left to go if he has to go bigger someday. So we'll go ahead, start getting everything installed. First thing we'll put in is the main bearings. Hopefully everything goes good and we can get this thing running today, because I really want to try it out. Crank bearings, these have been in the freezer, so they are nice and cold, ready to be installed. It just makes quicker work out of it if you heat this up a little bit. Freeze the crank bearings. Go ahead and press this in there. A very cold bearing. Yeah, she's heating up though. Going in like butter. Nice. Okay, well, this is the first side we're gonna start with. We'll go ahead and install our new crank seal. Just like to push it in, get it started by hand. We might as well do this side while we're at it. Crank seal. On this side, we're going to install the crank first. Get some oil on the seal. Get our hot rods crank. So on this, we're actually going to pull the crank in. We're not going to press it in, we're going to pull it in. So we'll take the new crank, a little oil right here. Lift this up. Crank's going to go in the crankcase just like this. So put it in as straight as we can in this bearing. Looks like that's as far as she wants to go right now. Take our puller, we'll pull this collet out. Put that in there. Then we'll use the nut that goes on the end of the crank. Thread this in. And we can put this right in here. Now, depending on your situation, you might have to use bars to go on this that come with the puller, but this one we do not have to. So tighten this up. So now we're going to pull the crank in while I'm tightening this. I want to hold the connecting rod up in here so it goes in. We'll just slowly bring it in. Hear it getting pulled in. Almost there. And right there. Okay. Now we set that rod down. We can loosen up that nut. We'll just pull it off by hand. The sleeve. We can unthread this. Take that nut off. And the collet. New seal for our clutch rod. Some oil on the shaft. We can put that down in there. Nice. Change out the seal here. Alright. We'll pull out my transmission gears. Alright, let's go ahead and get our gear set in here. Lost the washer. There's that and that. Just line those shift forks up, each one of their spots. Keep the shafts out, obviously, otherwise they're not going to go in. And our last fork. I'm going to lubricate these shafts, slide them down into the shift forks. There we go. Shifts very easy throughout the gears. Obviously, it'd be better, easier if everything was lined up with the dowel pins into the crankcase, but a little wiggle and you can get it to shift. So that's obviously fifth gear. Right there's first. Alright, there's the transmission. Now we want to make sure our maiden surfaces are clean. I already cleaned these all up. Just double check here. Everything looks good. So we can install our new crankcase gasket. Put it on those dowel pins. Looks good. Now this side of the crankcase got me worried a little bit. I'm not completely done with this, but it's just showing you they had welded on this side. It's not on the transmission crankshaft side. It's on the clutch side here. As you can see, this tab must have broke and they welded it. I put it on a flat stone and I actually took down, he said it wasn't leaking, but I actually took down some material here and it's barely touching right there. But if it wasn't leaking before, it shouldn't leak now because I did the best I could with this thing. But yeah, so we're going to put these keepers on this bearing. Alright, these are going to go right in there. Just like that to hold the bearing in. A little fresh blue Loctite on our bolts. There's that. Alright, now we'll throw this together. Get everything lined up. Alright, we'll go ahead and torque these down. Just tighten them by hand first, not torquing them. Make sure nothing's binding. Feels good. Get them all snugged up. Alright, now I'll go back through. Still feels good. Alright, we'll go back through. Tight, tight, tight. Good, 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 and good. Go ahead and cut this gasket off right here. I'm gonna throw the shifter gear on here. It aligns with that dowel pin. Loctite on the bolt. That in there. Put this spacer on our crank. Carefully get it in that seal. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and install our crankshaft gear. Now we're going to line it up. There's a notch in the crankshaft and then a little dot right there. Alright, once we get this on, then we can go ahead and throw our balancer gear in. Lubricated the bearings, or the bearing. Now I can't rotate this, so you know what? I gotta pull this gear to install this. This is gonna hold that balancer in place. There we go. Now we can put this gear back on. We gotta line it back up with the crank right there, and then line it up just like that. Make sure this is right here. So when the crank is as high as it could go with a connecting rod, we want to be nice and level right here. Now we can put this other gear on. This is not timed at all, so you can put it wherever you want. Fresh Loctite. Put our bolt in. We can actually flip this around, and I can put the balancer cover here. Go ahead and get this on. Right. 1, 2, and 3. These are all different sizes. Just gonna zip these in. Nice. We're going to flop this back over to the clutch side. Pull out our shift shaft and all the shifting related parts here. Get them all out of the bag. Shifter is going to go in on this side, but we got to install a new seal first. So we got the seal, and now I'll bring this shaft inside, after I installed a little grease on it. Back over here. Alright, we're going to get this assembled here. Loctite on all three of these. Right there. Get this on. Right, now that we got everything in here, let's go ahead and make sure we're shifting. So we're in neutral. Got the the shifter on there now. Let's see. There's first. We'll go back up into second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Beautiful. Bring her down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That went into neutral. Down into first. Back, and that went to second. It should be neutral. Perfect. Gears are good. Now we'll install our Kickstarter. The gear. Get some oil on there. Clutch in. Go ahead and bend that tab over. Alright, now we'll put the clutch rod in. Make sure that's in place. And it's not because there we go. It just put our bearing. So when you pull the clutch in, it pushes out. Perfect. Go ahead and put that face plate on. Clutch springs. Go ahead and Loctite our bolts. And get all of them started by hand a little bit. And we can wind them in. Get these all torqued down. Nice. As far as this clutch cover goes, went ahead and removed the water pump seal, so we're going to replace that. So we're going to put our new mechanical water pump seal right in here and press it in. Just like so. Alright, we got the water pump shaft, the new bearing. Slide that down in there. This notch is going to sit inside here, and that's what's going to turn the water pump. So press that bearing on. We got the new mechanical seal and the, if I can get this out, and the new oil seal. Get the new bearing pressed in. Now I can just set this in here. It's lubed up. There we go. The kit he bought came with a new water pump propeller. However, as you can see, they're different. This has splines in it, and this has just got like a hectagon shape that is not going to work for this. So we got this. It did come with a new seal. We'll put the new seal in there. Now we'll put that on. Complete the torquing when I get this in here to make it hold. Well, I guess we could set it in there right now. There's that. Pop this back off for the time being. We'll need our new Kickstarter seal. Now we're ready to put this on. However, I don't quite trust this, so I'm going to use some goop for sure, plus the new gasket. Now, if this was a good case and we were just using a gasket, I wouldn't care about a little oil residue on the mating surface, but where we're putting some Yama Bond on it, I don't want any oil at all. We'll just take a little cleaner. Wipe that surface. Alright, you got the Yama Bond 6B. It's a black silicone. Just gonna put a very light amount on both surfaces. Like I said, if you got good cases, you definitely don't need this stuff. But it just makes me a little nervous, and I'd rather not have it leak. And then same thing down here. Put a layer of this stuff, thin layer. Take our gasket, install it on this case. Make sure all our holes are lined up. Now we can go ahead and install our case. Get everything lined up. And gentle. This, we're going to rotate the water pump until we feel it click in. There. Now it's all together. Go around, double check. So far, so good. That gasket, and this can go right there. Now we can go ahead and turn this thing around. And we can either do the stator or the top end next. Might as well go ahead and get the stator installed here. That's gonna go in there just like so. So I already put the key in the keyway here for the flywheel. Now on this rubber, I'm gonna put some of that silicone. Get that in there. Now we can get our magneto on there for that keyways lined up. There. Washer. And the nut. Get the new gasket on. And the cover. Nice. Now we can work on that new top end. First things first, a little lube. We'll get our new base gasket on. Pull out our piston, new pin, get our new clips out. Now when this was bored out, the rings were installed on the piston, made sure everything fit perfect. Ring end gap, everything's good. Everything's ready to install now. That clip in there. So we want to install the arrow facing the exhaust. I'll take a little more of this oil, put it in the hole for the pin. Just a little bit. Now we can get that pin started. New needle bearing. Get our piston down in there, and then slide that on in. Install our clip. Beautiful. Take that freshly bored and honed cylinder. I already made sure everything was nice and clean in here. Cleaned it up with a rag and WD-40 because you never know. They get done boring and they might not clean the best, but this one actually looked pretty decent, so I was happy with it. Nice light coat of oil all around that cylinder. And then we can just drop her on. Good thing with the pistons that have locating pins, once you get them into position, they're not going to move. Alright, so we get it slid down. Rock it back and forth a little bit. She should drop right into place. Nice. She's coming together. Cylinder hold down nuts. Go ahead and torque these down. Tighten them up first before I actually torque them. Alright. Just double check. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and slide the Kickstarter on. Not sure exactly where this goes. I'll put it on for good once it's on the machine. But I just want to rotate that engine a couple times. It's got oil in it. Got a nice oil glazed cylinder, so we're good to rotate. Everything seems good. Go ahead and put this transmission drain bolt back up in here. Fill it up with transmission fluid here in a minute. Engine oil. Time for some head studs. One at a time. And then there was one. So the customer brought in a couple different gasket sets. Get the head gasket that was in the Vertex set, which he did not want to use. He wanted to use a multi-layer steel gasket, so we're going to be using this. Alright, let's go ahead and get this gasket on. Nice. And then our cylinder head. Then the nuts. Alright, now our final torque. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and get some oil in the transmission. We'll pull this bolt right here. This is where you want to fill it to. Now we can see it come out. Reinstall our bolt. We are getting close. New gasket. Get the reed assembly on here. Get our sprocket on here. And our bolt. Put our guard on here. Didn't notice that before, but it was definitely pre-cracked. Actually, now that I'm feeling that, some kind of epoxy or something. This whole piece right here. Well, I mean, it should be aluminum if it was the same as everything else, but it's flexing. And now that I'm chipping away at this, you can see I'm exposing the aluminum here. This, I'm guessing it's JB Weld or something. I wished I would have noticed that first, but scrape off what I can and just JB Weld it. At least it's nothing serious. It just holds this, and the threads are way in here, so it should be fine. Not a fan, but JB welded it, and hopefully nothing leaks there. Get a new BR9ES and GK spark plug on here. These fenders can come back off. Now we can get this engine back in this machine. Get these engine mounts on. Get these coolant hoses hooked up. Get some coolant in here. Come on this side and just crack this, and we'll get some coolant bleeding out. Oh yeah. Just pinching these lines, see if we can get some air out of them. A little bit. All that good for now. Plug that spark plug in. Gotta get our wiring plugged in. Not much to these things. Get our clutch cable hooked up here. Try that for now. Pull this carburetor apart and see the condition, see if it's dirty. A little bit dirty in there, not bad. Not bad. Let's go get this on there. Get that out of there. Get this on. Get that FMF pipe on there. And this can go here. Just getting everything lined up before I tighten it. fuel tank on there, and we'll try to fire this thing up. Hopefully everything goes good. Just mixing the gas around a little bit. That's what was in there, but never know, could separate. I'll put these rear fenders on. I know the gas tank's not bolted down right now because I just want to try to fire it up, but kind of gotta know where the Kickstarter goes, and I'll know that by sliding it right there. That looks good. Yep. Alright, I don't have the chain on or anything, but we're just gonna see if she fires up. Kill switch off. Choke. I'm going to shut the kill switch off, actually, turn it off, and give it a couple of kicks first. Ooh, got some compression now. Alright, we're going to remove it. Going to move it to run. There we go. If she wants to choke, I'll try taking it off. Oh, thing's got some compression kick back. Oh, wow. There she goes. Nice. Nice. We'll shut her down. I gotta put a chain on this thing so we can actually try it out. And bolt the gas tank down. The new chain. We're gonna have to take some links out of this, obviously. Loosen her up as much as we can, which seems to be right there. Yep. So that's as loose as we can go. So now we're gonna put the chain. See where we need to cut it. There we go. Grease her up. O-rings. Can't forget the O-rings. Probably gonna stretch pretty soon, so we'll leave it right there. And the last piece of the puzzle. I sent this video to the owner. Told him I was just doing a few heat cycles, doing a test run, and then well, I was gonna deliver it to him, but yeah, that's not happening now. Just got her back together this morning. Not sure if the noise is much different than it was, but we got all new parts in there, so we know it's good. Just doing a few break-ins this morning, and then I'll give her a good test run. So I did a few heat cycles on that new engine rebuild, and everything was looking good. I took it for a little test run afterwards, and just went out in the field, kind of did a loop, easing on it, never went over quarter throttle. Went down the road here, come back, seemed good. I let it cool down again. Once it cooled down, I fired it back up, did the same thing. I went in a little bit different direction, but just really easing it, barely quarter throttle. But it was nice and crisp, running great. Got it back here, idling good and everything. If anything, it might have been loading up on the low end. So I was gonna mess with the pilot jet, but I figured I'd check to see how she was running. I pulled the spark plug out. Perfectly brown. It looked great. I said, okay. I figured at this point, I had a little bit of time on that engine. It was ready to open her up a little bit. So I'll show you where I went. I assume you guys know this didn't end well the way I'm talking here. Took off from here. Hammered on it, made sure all 6 gears were working. I checked that to begin with anyways when I was going slow, but still. So full throttle. Obviously, it was a lot less time than this is taking. Get to the end of the field right here. Whipped it around. Now everything seemed pretty good. I mean, I wasn't hammering on it. I mean, I was full throttle, but not like full throttle, getting all the high RPMs out of every gear. I was kind of short shifting. And then, like I said, turned it around right here. Now from here, I hammered on it pretty good. Probably hit first, second, somewhere around here I hit third, and I noticed a little bit of a bog. Clicked in fourth, right about here. It just bogged, died, completely died. So I coasted it in here, and that's as far as we made it. That is not what I wanted to happen. I mean, it was running great. Like I said, a short little pull there, and I knew something bad happened. So I pulled the spark plug, and as you can see, super lean. And like I said, 2 minutes before I hammered on it, that was nice and golden brown. I did try to fire it back up after. Nothing. It feels like no compression. I know it's a little hard to see. That is a huge hole in the top of the piston. That sucks. That's gonna cost me some money for sure. It blew up on my time. Obviously, I gotta take care of that. That's not on the customer. So now I gotta see what's going on. It's got, for it to blow up that quick, I don't really think it's in the carburetor. I don't think it's running lean enough in the carburetor. I think we got a major air leak somewhere. Could be wrong, but something happened. I don't know if a crank seal popped. I don't know. I just can't. Oh, it's a bad one. It's gonna be costly. You know, probably. I don't know if the jug's salvageable still. Hopefully, because it blew up so quick. Hopefully, maybe just a new piston. We'll find out though. Yeah. Probably gonna plug everything off and do a leak down test. I should have did a leak down test to begin with to make sure there was no air leaks anywhere, but it was just going so good, and I should have did it all on video. But usually I don't do break-ins on videos because it's pretty boring. I mean, I fire them up, I do a couple of heat cycles, idling, just give it a little gas there, shut them down, and then I'll go take it for a little short ride, just babying it until I feel confident that it's good. And, you know, this one I was starting to feel confident, so I get onto her a little bit, and she popped. So I guess we'll save that teardown for a new video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one more than I did.